How will Gemini fare in March? March for Gemini does not begin with a storm, but with work. 8 of Coins is a rhythm that repeats itself. Step by step, day by day. Without grand gestures but with deep meaning. It is a month when Gemini refines, improves, learns, corrects, as if preparing for something bigger, which is not yet visible. And then comes 7 of Coins. The energy of waiting and patience. It is a moment when a person stops, looks at their work, and asks if it all makes sense. And the answer is, it does. It is just not quite done yet. March for Gemini is a month when results are born slowly, but steadily. And it is in this silence that the High Priest comes. As a teacher, as a guide, as a voice that says, stay the course. This is a path that is supposed to take you somewhere. The High Priestess brings wisdom, structure, perhaps even help from someone more experienced. It is a card that says that Gemini grows not only practically but also spiritually in March. But no growth is without a test. And that test is the 5 of Wands. Not a big conflict, more like chaos, minor friction, the feeling that everyone wants something different. It is a period when Gemini learns to assert themselves, to find their voice among the voices of others, not to be drawn into other people's dramas. It is a test of strength, not a threat. And then, as a quiet conclusion, like moonlight after a noisy day, the High Priestess comes. That is the gift of March. An awakening intuition. Clairvoyance that rises from the depths. A silent answer that comes from within, not from the surroundings. The High Priestess says, everything you are looking for, you already know. Just let it sail. It is the end of the month when Gemini finds peace, inner guidance, and understands why they had to go through everything that seemed difficult. March is a month for Gemini, when work becomes growth, growth becomes wisdom, and wisdom becomes a quiet certainty that everything has its time. March begins as a quiet breath after a long winter. The 5 of Pentacles reversed opens the door from a place where it was cold, where Gemini felt alone, misunderstood, cut off. This card says, you are no longer outside. You are no longer abandoned. The return of warmth begins. It is the energy of healing relationship wounds, the return of support, the return of closeness, the return of faith in love. And then comes the Ace of Wands, like a spring sprout that breaks through even concrete. It is a spark, a desire, a new beginning of energy that says, something is awakening here. Something wants to happen here. It can be a new person, a new passion, a new impulse, or a rekindled fire where it had almost gone out. And to make it even stronger, the 5 of Swords reversed brings reconciliation, a release of tension, the end of fighting, the end of misunderstandings, the end of the feeling that someone has to win and someone has to lose. It is the energy, let's try it differently, without fighting, without fear, without ego. Old conflicts dissolve, and relationships can breathe. And then, as the crowning touch of the entire month, comes the Magician. That is the power of manifestation. The power of words, thoughts, wishes. The power that says, what you want, you can create. What you feel, you can make happen. The Magician is the beginning of a new chapter. It is a relationship that is being born, or a relationship that is being rewritten, or the courage to say what you really want. It is a card that gives Gemini back their power and their magnetism. Good luck in March to all Geminis, Kitty wishes.